All right, let's take a look at writing equations from words. One of the main things that you need to understand is if they use the term a number, what they're basically talking about is a variable, so it could be an x, y, a z, right? If they say an unknown value, same thing, it's an x or y or z. When you're talking more than, or sum, or plus, you're adding. Less than, subtract, you're subtracting. They might say multiply or times as much, divided, split into groups, dividend, you're dividing, and if they say equals or the word is, like if you hear the word is, it actually, that's the equal sign. So the way that I look at this is when we're going to try to write equations, I tend to write down the symbols above the words and see what I come up with. The key is most of the time it works out. Sometimes, especially I wrote it right here, number 3. Subtracting questions sometimes need to be flipped. So if I was looking at this 5 less, so 5 less than a number is 12. The problem with that is, realistically, 5 less than a number is 12, is you have this number and you want to go 5 less than that. So it's actually x minus 5. So that's the one that sometimes you get caught on, is the subtracting. So let's just take a look at this. 5 more than a number is 20. And so with adding, you could write it as 5 plus x equals 20, or you could write it as x plus 5. Both is fine. Both will work out. But again, what I do is I write above my question to see if it makes sense. Okay? Let's take a look at the other one. Let's skip 2 because it's a subtracting one. 4 times a number. And so yes, we usually go times a number, then is. Anytime you say is, 40. And the only difference is if we don't write 4 times m like that, we would write it as 4m side by side is 40. Okay? Looking at the next one, a number divided by 8. Let's put it above. So a number divided by 8 is 10. You could keep it like that, or you could go like this and write it that way as well. They mean the same thing. 6 more than 2 times a number. 2 times a number. 2 times a number is, that equal sign, is 28. So again, we don't tend to write it like that. But we could write it as 6 plus 2m is 28. And it could be opposite, 2m plus 6 is 28. Both would work. Okay. A number divided by 4 is 6. So I've got a number divided by 4 is 6. You can write it like that, or like that. Okay, now I'm going to look at number 2 and 7. Subtracting is weird sometimes. So 7 less than a number is 15. And if you think about this, if you have 7 less than a number, what actually you have is you have this number and you want 7 less than that. So there's your number, and 7 less than that is 15. So I star those ones because it's very typical that people write them backwards. 7 less than a number, right? This means that I have 7 subtracted a number. Whereas this is, here's my number, and give me 7 less. There's 7 less than that number. So it is a little difficult. So I always, again, I just write it above. 7 less than a number is 15. And typically, when they're subtracting, you have to rewrite them in the opposite order for it to be correct. 7 less than 3 times a number. So I have the 3 times a number, and they want me to go 7 less than that. So, but if I was doing it over top in the order, you can see that it's backwards, is 29. Okay, I hope that helps you guys out with figuring out how to write these down. When you're getting words, how to write them down into algebraic form. And that's it.